our midweek reflection. If you have been tuning in for the last 6 weeks, you'll know that we are done with Ephesians, and I hope that you received as much from that reading and from the worship series as I did, because truthfully, it's been a little bit since I read Ephesians, and I can think of no better time to read through it than this past few weeks as we've prepared truly for all of the things that are to come, including an election season where it is actually very important for us to remember that we are united in Christ, that we look to Christ as our guide, and that we are maturing in Christ so that everything we do is motivated by Christ's love that calls us to love God, to love neighbor. And so, we walk through every week, and you have been listening into the sermons, and then finally this past week, Charlie told us to put on the right stuff. Do you have the right gear? Remember, he talked about running in the wrong gear, but that in Christ we have the right stuff to put on, and you just have to be prepared. So I'm going to pose a question to you. And that question is, when you sit and you think about your gear, do you have it? Do you have the right stuff to put on daily? Maybe you don't. And so maybe this is the time where we continue to read into Ephesians. Maybe you look at that final section and you say, okay, do I have the shoes? Remember, the shoes are really what stuck out to me, because it was wear whatever shoes you want to wear. Do you have the shoes that can carry you on and let you spread the message of peace? Do you have those shoes? Do you have the helmet? Do you have the shield? Do you have the faith that is going to sustain you through the hard times in your life? Take inventory of what is going on in your life. Take inventory of the right stuff. And maybe at some point you will say, okay, God, help me find the right stuff. Isn't that part of our Christian journey? Isn't that part of maturing anyway, to look at ourselves and recognize that, hey, maybe this is something that I really should be working on? Ask God for that help. Ask God to help you get the right stuff. And maybe you need to return to Ephesians over and over. I think I'm going to probably reread it one more time this year. I know it may feel like we've exhausted it, but Ephesians has been such a rich text just for that reminder that we are united in Christ, and it is Christ who is calling us into relationship to mature and to follow on his path to grow closer with Christ. I also have a feeling that you'll learn a little bit more about that as we go into our Wesleyan series, Wesleyan Rooted. Of course, we can't go into it without touching on all of the modes of grace. So, of course, we'll hear about prevenient and justifying grace, but we'll also hear about sanctifying grace, the ways in which we are to move into our relationship with Christ and the social holiness that is there. Wesley himself will say that there is no holiness without social holiness. And that, again, returns us to Ephesians, thinking through that we don't do this alone. We can't do this alone. And so I encourage you this week, continue to build up your relationships, continue to reach out to people, continue to have the conversations about who you are as a Christian and why you are called to do what you do. Have a great week.